Hey, what's up guys? Patrick here from Syntropy Chiropractic Training. I wanted to help you out a little bit with basically what we talk about finding the window. When we put out the feeler, what are some of the biggest questions you had? A lot of people had to do with specific body types and body morphologies. So I wanted to kind of run through this matrix and how we look at this as a whole. So what we're doing when we're looking for the window is we're looking for that space where you feel that resonance with the bone and you're actually connected with the bone and you feel all the musculature around it let go. Okay, and there's that moment where everything is open and you can fire through there through the least resistance and you get the most output for the least input. Okay, so there's a couple of factors we got to look at here. I was kind of first exposed to this probably from Arnaud Bernier, and he always talked about the four elements, either water, earth, fire, and wind. And it was a beautiful explanation, but it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It wasn't fully clear. So we broke this down a little bit further, and really there's two separate scales here, two separate spectrum. One is adiposity, which is the level of adipose tissue, your body fat, okay? And so you have very, very lean, low adiposity, and you have people that are carrying a little extra weight, okay? Then you've got your tension and tone spectrum, okay? So from a very low tone, like your super yoga person, and very, very high tone. And you can think of maybe a Conor McGregor or a rock climber, or somebody that's really wiry, or just high tone in general. So we have to add these two together. And if we have very, very, very low body fat, okay, and very high tone, think of this as your typical rock climber, what you have to do there is you have to not move very far. There's very little range of movement, and you just place your finger there and you should be able to feel the window open much easier. It's almost at neutral. You don't have to do much with your finger. You lay it there, barely move the head, and just find where it opens the most, okay? Now, if we take that exact same type of morphology like a climber, and then we add a bunch of body fat on them or a bunch of muscle mass, let's think of our typical power lifter, okay? So the exact same thing. You're gonna have high tone and you're not gonna have to move it very far off of neutral. As a matter of fact, if you take it far from neutral, it's gonna be more difficult, okay? So this is gonna be closer to neutral with these people. However, you've got a lot of adipose tissue. And so what you need to do is you need to compress the adipose tissue. Okay, imagine you've got this much inert material that does nothing. And if you don't compress that material down, then what's gonna happen is you're going to cause a whiplash. So you're gonna actually slam into the bone. So what you need to do is not create tension, but compress the adipose until your finger is on the bone and you can feel the opening, okay? So let's move back to this side and imagine we have the lower tone. Okay, so we're imagining people here, when you're gonna find somebody that is going to be very low adiposity, okay, so they're very lean, but they're incredibly Gumby. These are your typical yoga people, you know who I'm talking about, okay, everybody has them. And so with these, what you have to do is you barely lay your finger on there, you don't want a lot of pressure, it's very light. However, the range of movement is gonna be significantly greater. So someone who is very, very lean but very flexible, peace and ease for them might be way over here. Or in the side posture, you may have to get a lot of lateral flexion to keep this leg from bending over. And really the real key with this tension scale, this is gonna be how far off of neutral do you deviate, okay? Because if you try and adjust these people from neutral, what you're gonna find is it just eats up your force, okay? So it's very much like, when you adjust someone and they're so flexible and just nothing happens and you feel like you're just running into rubber, okay? Or actually like a wet spaghetti noodle. So again, low adiposity, barely lay your finger there, but then you're going to move the head, for example, if you're adjusting the cervicals, significantly farther over. You keep your finger as a fulcrum and you bend the neck over the fulcrum. And then once you're set and you find the window, only the adjusting hand moves, okay? So this side over here, very, very little movement. This side over here, significantly greater movement, okay? Now let's go up into water. These people don't have a lot of high tension or high tone, but they also have a lot of adiposity. So for these people, you need to do the exact same thing in terms of range of movement. You need to bring them far over your fulcrum, but you have to compress the tissue here, okay? So just to really, really quickly, briefly recap here, This scale is going to tell you how far you need to bring them over from neutral, and this scale is going to tell you how much you need to sink in on the bone to get that contact. And remember, with all of our adjustments, whether it's a lumbar, whether it's thoracic, whether it's cervicals, we're using our fingertips, and the reason being is because you have the greatest feeling there. And what you want to do is you want to feel right where that resistance just lets go. There's a moment where everything just relaxes. We call it the window, and that's what we're searching for. So just find that spot, bring it over to wherever it needs to go, and then you got it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we've got a lot more coming soon.